Let's bring in Jersey City Fire Chief Stephen McGill. Chief McGill, thank you for being with us. Let's just look at these latest numbers. We have 11 that are dead, 150 that are unaccounted for. We're entering day 6 of what officials are still insisting is a search and rescue mission. You hate to ask this question, but at what point does this go from a search and rescue mission to a recovery mission? And how do you make that decision?
I mean, from my perspective, it's tough to say because I don't have the information they have and what they're seeing. But they have experts there that come with those rescue teams of engineers, doctors, and other people that will give them advice, the firefighters, advice on what the survivability potential is, and also advice on further collapsing and how far they should go in and how far they should continue the methodical searching through that debris before we start to go to a recovery mode, which will bring in heavy cranes and other things just to start ripping all that stuff out, not worrying about the bodies that are in there by that time because they were assuming there won't no one that survived. It's just tough to say. It could be a couple more days. Most likely, they'll probably give it 10 to 13, 14 days before they say yes or no. But every day, it gets grimmer looking every day.
Need to drop down ASAP.
Yeah, and everyone's just holding on to hope at this point, a bit of hope that they can hold on to, that there could be a miracle in that rubble. I know more than 80 rescuers are working on the pile at a time amid sometimes rough weather conditions, high humidity and rain. How do the rescuers stay safe while combing through that wreckage?
They do the best they can. We go through hundreds, sometimes thousands of hours of specialized training for the rescue task force and in the collapse rescue specifically. So, you know, it's tough. The rule of thumb is you're only in there for about 15 minutes before you have to be relieved. And sometimes it may take you 15 minutes to get to the spot where you want to be at to start shoring up things to make it safe for you to tunnel in further. And it's frustrating being one of the members in there. I've done it before. And to be called out right after you got to a spot where you think you're going to get something. But for the fatigue and just the general welfare of the rescuers, you have to start pulling them out and putting fresh team members in there. That's why it's so difficult and it's so time consuming. And it's very methodical because you're worried about the safety of the members going in there, as well as the potential survivors that are inside the rubble.
There's so many questions about how something like this can happen. A report from October 2018 said waterproofing below the condominium's pool deck and entrance was failing, causing, quote, major structural damage to the concrete structural slab below those areas. How would a report like this factor into the investigation? And why do you think nothing was done when it was originally flagged?
It's tough to say why they didn't do anything, but from a firefighting perspective, these type of buildings are the most stable and they're the least likely to collapse. But once you have spalling where the concrete is exposing the steel underneath and you have rust, that's a big issue. And that would be an issue that as a firefighter, I would go to experts and you talk to the engineers that are there. And those are the people who give a better explanation of that. But as like I said before, there are definitely engineers on that site and that are part of these rescue task force teams, and they're going to be giving them advice as they go through. You know, it's hard to speculate what could have happened, why people didn't do certain things. Money is always a factor, and the amount of damage there is. That's for the finance people and for the attorneys to figure out now.
Yeah, it's just hard to kind of like stomach all of that, given the amount of people who are still missing and the loss of life that we're looking at right now. Given all the modern technology that we do have, how does something so unimaginable and tragic like this happen in 2021? I've heard so many people say buildings don't just collapse.
You know, it's tough to say because, like I said, these buildings are very strong. And they're built that way for a reason, especially that close to the water. So they take every precaution necessary. But as we say in the fire business, once a building goes up, it's fighting gravity all the time. So gravity wants to take that building back down. Unfortunately, sometimes gravity takes over. And that's what happened in this instance where the gravity just took it down. What were the weak points and why? We won't know probably for months until they get all that debris and sift through it. They'll put that building back together like they do after a plane crash. to figure out what happened, and so they can prevent that from happening in the future.
And those are questions that people will be asking, but right now the search and rescue mission continues. Jersey City Fire Chief Stephen McGill, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.